Injured here, 1v1 Green Tooth Gorge, blue side. Stoned Elf Boy plays a Commissar Lord, good offense and support, fights melee, has this shield to start off. Up against mr.Ricco on the red side as a Kommando Nob, fights range by default, can infiltrate, sneak around and blow stuff up, Orky style. 3 VPs up for grabs. East side here will be natural for mr.Ricco, they run east to west. West side natural for Stoned Elf Boy and a central VP, double shooters on the way for mr.Ricco. The usual Ork opening, good light range infantry that can scale pretty well with Nob leaders and big shooters. Sentinel on the field, no doubt to try and control those guys early on with their stomp. Tier 1 vehicle have a kind of symbiotic relationship with Guardsmen. Sentinel relies on Guardsmen to repair it, and Guardsmen rely on the Sentinel to protect them from very, very mean Xenos. It has heavy infantry armor though, so as you can see, took quite a lot of damage from that twin-link shooter that the Kommando Nob has, who is now capping east. Stoned Elf Boy has a quick single hit. Commissar Lord now going in amongst some sluggers under fire from shooter boys, and here come more shooter boys in the top right corner of your screen. Takes out a slugger. Slugger's just cutting him away, keeping the shooters free from his attacks so far. And now are they going to engage? No, they're still moving. Takes out another slugger boy. And is finally forced off. Took up 2 sluggers. And gets away fine. Sentinel can now decap this east side. It can decap points but cannot cap them. Taking a lot of damage here from this Kommando Nob in this building. Guardsmen come and repair. Guardsmen repair faster than other repair units. As fast as commanders, I believe. Early power harass from mr.Ricco. Node is getting shot up by these shooters. No upgrade yet. We might see stick bombs on the Kommando Nob before we see shooters get their big shooter. And Stoned Elf Boy putting up a generator while his node is under attack. That's usually a big mistake. Only has a Commissar Lord and a single Guardsman squad to defend here. Node has gone down. Now they turn their attention to the generator. I think the generator is going to go down as well. Sluggers have capped the west side. Now moving into melee the Commissar Lord. You see aiming, what's that, suppressing him. Took down a lot of his shield. The shield has gone down. Now he's in a bit of trouble here. Sluggers will chop you up good if they catch you in retreat. But he does get away. I think that generator is still standing just. Sluggers now after Guardsmen. Guardsmen don't want to get into melee with anything, especially a big mean Ork. And the generator goes down. East side, Kommando Nob now sneaking away. Guardsmen will try and cap east, I think. 475, 483. A single for mr.Ricco. Nobody has gone to center yet. Might see it now. Here come double shooters. Both of their big shooters now. Katakan Devils on the way for Stoned Elf Boy. And we do see stick bombs on the Kommando Nob and extra equipment already. And there is the attempt. Stoned Elf Boy did not notice, and boom! Bits of Guardsmen everywhere. Took out 4 of the 6 models. They don't have their sergeant yet. Stoned Elf Boy now taking this natural power back. Katakan Devils on the field. Versatile tier 1 infantry, very dangerous both in melee and ranged combat, and can disrupt as well. 449, 483. Is mr.Ricco going to get something else in tier 1, or is he going to rely on these shooters and this dangerous Kommando Nob? We're probably going to see the special shooter in tier 2, which is bad news for Guardsmen and light infantry in general. Takes the building, gets back out. Sentinel still around. Has not gained any experience at all. Here come the Katakans. A detector unit you can see, so they will be able to spot this Kommando Nob when he's infiltrated. Like right now. Trying to sneak away. There's the attempt. Stoned Elf Boy spots it and gets away fine. Kommando Nob should also get away. Double shooters in the center, not capping, not doing anything, completely idle right now. mr.Ricco not paying attention, now capping. These guys have their Nob leader. It will allow them to detect Katakans' improvised explosives if they drop any. Ouch! Oh, reliable grenade launcher going in on those sluggers. And they lose a couple of models quickly there. Guardsmen are now going to cap, and he can harass this power with Katakans. And these guys do a lot of damage with their shotguns, their silent shotguns of death. two generators, as you can see, completely tearing them down here. Now they have their demolition man, he can put down improvised explosives, and looks like that's what they're doing now. And there you see it, explosives work. They are an infiltrated item that can be detonated by the owner whenever they like by clicking that little icon there. The shooter boy Nob will be able to spot them, but I'm not sure where he is. He is in the center. 445, 456, a 2-to-1 cap for stoned elf boy. Sentinel about now being repaired, taking damage from the Nob leader. Sluggers don't want to get into a fight with Catechans, no way. Not tier 1 sluggers with no upgrades, certainly. Here comes shooter boys, getting some Dakot on those Catechans. And now doing some serious damage to the Sentinel. Can the Guardsmen get in and repair in time? They can, I think. Sentinel just moves off. And they have to retreat. Lots of harassment on this power. Stoned Elf Boy now has 3 gens up. 2-to-1 cap, he has both of the naturals. And mr.Ricco struggling to defend this power. It's been completely decapped. In goes stick bombs, easily dodged. Now makes it much harder for the Kommando Nob to surprise Stoned Elf Boy with a stick bomb throw, since if he infiltrates, the Catechans will just spot him. Stomp there, ground pound. That's the first one I've seen, I think, on the Kommando Nob, stunning him, knocking him back. As you can see here, the Nob leader spotting improvised explosive. These guys are now trying to shoot it up. Just spotted it in time. A couple more seconds of moving forward would have been a big boom on his face. Stoned Elf Boy gonna get a triple here. Yes, 445, 391. mr.Ricco already has a Weird Boy on the way. Shooter's now retaking mr.Ricco's natural. Still hasn't got his power back. Might see Weird Boy into War Truck, Special Shooter, and then Tier 3 for mr.Ricco. As for Stoned Elf Boy, I'm not sure. I'd get some Ogrins. Wants to put pressure onto this Weird Boy as soon as possible. Get some Ogrins. Use a red right into melee with him, and he can't use that very, very dangerous artillery attack then. How much are Ogrins these days? 415.90, I think. So he just needs under a minute of power and he can get some Ogrins out. We'll see what he goes for. Weird Boy capping mid now. Sub-commander for Orks, good at dealing with clumps of infantry, good offense and some support as well. There's a really, really nasty artillery attack, which is going to be bad news for these double guardsmen, and they now have their sergeants up to 9 models. Will reinforce 2 at a time. Catechans with an improvised explosive on the west side now. And it's a triple cap for mr.Ricco. Tier 2 now for Stoned Elf Boy. Has the power sword on his Commissar Lord. Can use it to try and get in amongst those shooters and disrupt them with lead by example. Weird Boy gets in shots off. 389, 359. As you can see, he's not knocking back the Commissar Lord because he has his shield up. Shields also protect from weapon knockback. Kommando Nob has now leveled to 2, and he has the special shooter. This is going to be devastating. He's sneaking up to these guardsmen. He's going to absolutely own them here. If he has the energy to still use it. There it is. Boom. High explosive shells and bits of guardsmen all over the floor, and he's still getting shots off. Does really nice damage and a passive 30% chance for weapon knockback as well. Great disruption. Run into Catechans though. Look at the damage those shotguns are doing. Needs to retreat. 352, 359. Power's been decapped by Stoned Elf Boy. Commissar Lord in melee with some sluggers, and all they've done pretty much so far is bleed models for mr.Ricco. Needs to get those guys a Nob leader, make them a bit more viable on the field. We have stormtroopers on the field for Stoned Elf Boy, have their assault kit. It's good against the Weird Boy. As you can see, they're easily able to outrange the Weird Boy and do a lot of damage with those overcharged hotshot lasguns. Commissar Lord almost goes down. Dakar pouring into him there. How level are these shooters? They're still all level 1. What about guardsmen? All level 1 as well. Nobody is leveled apart from the commanders, who are level 2. Kommando Nob almost level 3, now fully kitted out. special shooter, extra equipment, and those stick bombs. It's now very energy intensive though, with infiltration, stick bombs, and high explosive shells, and his stun bomb of course. Boom! Absolutely wiping those stormtroopers off the face of the map with the high explosive shells. Ouch. His stun bomb as well, I don't think I've seen him use it yet. That's the default ability of the Kommando Nob, a really nice one as well. Chimera on the way for Stoned Elf Boy. I really would have gone for some Ogrins. Sentinel now has its missile launcher using frag missiles versus those shooters. Does quite a nice amount of AoE damage, but as you can see their flight time is achingly slow, so you can pretty much dodge them with every unit if you pay attention. Stoned Elf Boy has noded this power. Weird Boy trying to take it back. 287359 should be getting the Foot of Gork, I think. I'm not sure what the upgrade's called.
Sir, power node is ready.
Kommando Nob sneaking around now, level 4 after wiping out those stormtroopers. That was a big loss for Stoned Elf Boy. Has no direct way of putting pressure on the Weird Boy apart from trying to get Catechins into melee perhaps. Stubbornness now on the Commissar Lord. Slugger's forced to retreat. And Mr. Ricco goes tier 3. And now he has no way to deal with this Chimera until he hits tier 3. Weird Boy does do decent anti-vehicle damage with his artillery attack. That's if he can hit. Are we going to see the rocket launcher in tier 3? We might. Mines dropped here by the Commissar Lord. That's one of his global abilities. They will be spotted though by the Nob leader of the big shooters. Or shooter boys, should I say. Still only one squad with a Nob leader. There he is. Has that twin link shooter. Kommando Nob capping the west side. Improvised explosives not going off. Pretty much a good choice, I think. No point wasting it disrupting a commander when you can wipe a squad, or very nearly wipe a squad with it. 276338. Harassing power again is Stoned Elf Boy. These Catechins now have their Sarge, gives them a melter gun, so they are now a soft vehicle counter as well as everything else they can do. Weird Boy getting big shots on that Chimera. Look at the damage. 276331 needs to be careful, not as tough as he once was. 850 hit points to start off, taking a lot of damage here. Mr. Ricco retreats. Now the Chimera can be repaired. Good map control for Stoned Elf Boy. Mr. Ricco still hasn't taken his power back. It's a 1-to-1 cap. Stoned Elf Boy not bothering capping this east side right now. 276331, and we do have Ogrins on the way. Tank busters also on the field for Mr. Ricco to trying to deal with this Chimera. There's the barrage, just about misses. Wow. Probably takes about half of the Chimera's HP away if that thing hits. Chimera is a support vehicle, allows these guardsmen to reinforce around it, and those Catechins of course. Mr. Ricco is tier 3, strong Ork economy has got him there. Now he just needs some wreck and can get some Nobs on the field. Stoned Elf Boy takes back the west side. Ogrins hit the field for Stoned Elf Boy. Really nice line breaker melee unit for guardsmen. Tough, deceptively quick, and very strong in melee. If you can support them, they can be devastating. Kommando Nob trying to get close enough for something nasty and is forced to retreat. Now has his rocket launcher. Really wants to deal with that Chimera quickly, I think. Tank busters trying to shoot Catechins, not very effective though versus infantry. Big push on the west side by Mr. Ricco. Slugger's getting too close to that improvised explosive. Is Stoned Elf Boy going to set this thing off or what? Here come Ogrins into melee with shooters. Mr. Ricco not paying attention to this side and almost loses shooter boys. In fact does lose shooter boys. Ogrins claim their first victim. Have their boned leader now. Still harassing this power is Stoned Elf Boy. Chimera has gone down thanks to the tank busters and this rocket launcher, no doubt. Stoned Elf Boy not paying attention to his Chimera. Generators go down and it's completely decapped. Right enemy crosshairs against the Catechins. Ouch. It can do pretty good damage to infantry if you can find them clumped together like that. Finally forces off Stoned Elf Boy. Sentinel backs off, cannot retreat of course since it's a vehicle.
Spotters reporting power node in sight.
Mr. Ricco does have 2 generators here, so it's not the end of the world. And he has enough for Nobs. He's not getting them. Maybe he's going for a battle wagon first. 276, 262. I think he should get Nobs. He needs something to stand up to these Ogrins, who are now bashing power. He's getting a battle wagon instead. Has capped that power back. Now needs to cap his natural back. Stone Delph Boy now coming back out of base. Has some more stormtroopers. We'll see how long these guys last with that Kommando Nob around. He's not switching back to his shotgun yet. 276, 228, a triple cap for Stone Elf Boy. Sluggers. Again, just bleeding models, not doing anything else. He's going to lose a squad, I think, and does lose a squad. Barrage going in on those stormtroopers, doing decent damage as you can see, but they are all forced off. He has absolutely nothing to help him hold lines. Death Dread would have been nice. But as usual for Orks, his primary target is get to tier 3 as soon as possible. 276, 195, a 2-to-1 cap for Stone Elf Boy, holding the center and his natural. And there's some pretty good map control in general here. Kommando Nob sneaking around, still has this rocket launcher out. Should really switch back to the shotgun, and there's some stick bombs going in, but they are easily dodged by Stone Elf Boy. Catacombs still level 1. Has anyone leveled? None of the... oh, these guys on a level 2. Well done, lads. Commissar Lord now capping the east side. Here comes the battle wagon super unit for Orks. Trundles around, running the stuff over and shooting it. Don't get much more orky than that. Triple cap for Stone Elf Boy though. There you see the death roller activated, but he's not running anything over with it. Might see the Sentinel switch to crack grenades. Crack missiles even, sorry. Now trying to take out this improvised explosive with some Dakka and some missiles. Battle wagon. Ouch, big zap gun shot to those guardsmen. 276, 109, Stone Elf Boy still with the triple. Mr. Ricco needs to cap stuff. He's now capping the east side, needs to come mid, support this battle wagon. Look at the map control for Stone Elf Boy. Mr. Ricco has 2 points, this power and this wreck point. Using Ogrins to cap. After they cap this power, being completely outmaneuvered as you'd expect with the huge unit advantage that Stone Elf Boy has preserved both of his guardsmen. More importantly, has preserved this Sentinel, which has protected the guardsmen for the sluggers. Sluggers have now gone down, of course, and this battle wagon is now getting owned. We have a las cannon on the field, heavy weapon team getting rear armor hits, and it drives away, uses the death roller to boost its speed. Ogrins now going after the Kommando Nob. Took a big shot though, but from the battle wagon. 2-to-1 cap for Mr. Ricco. Can he hang on and get Nobs? He's not far off. Stone Elf Boy could get a Manticore. I think he should. Ogrins are going to take a lot of damage here, suppressed by aiming what's that, and they are forced off. That is the Ogrins' weakness, pretty much. Suppression, they have no way to break it, and are forced off here. 252, 74. Battle wagon should back off and get repaired, I think. It's really, really dangerous to stay there, especially with las cannon around. And here's a rocks from Mr. Ricco. Boom. Guardsman walking right into it, get absolutely devastated. Las cannon taken out. Sentinel survives somehow. Level 2 now, this guy. Guardsman took a lot of damage. Catacombs took a lot of damage, down to 3 models. There is a flare used by the Commissar Lord, reducing the range of all of this stuff. 231, 74, and Mr. Ricco needs to retreat all of it. Battle wagon still around, precariously low on health, down to just over 500 hit points. Another heavy weapon team from Stone Elf Boy, who's now floating tons of power. Mr. Ricco has Nobs on the field though. Elite tier 3 infantry can go toe to toe with anything, especially with the upgrades, which makes them very, very expensive though. They now have their Nob leader and are in amongst guardsmen. Pretty much the worst fight guardsmen could hope to have, and they just about get away with their lives. Battle wagon still getting las cannon hits. Mr. Ricco, huge mistake keeping it there, and it goes down, and that's a big loss. 201, 74, 2-1 from Mr. Ricco. Stoned Elfboy though is capping mid. Commissar Lord levels to 4. Kommando Nob is level 6. Nob's coming in now with no support, and they don't have Mina and Greener, so they can't use Frenzy. Ogrin's now coming in without their boned leader. And these Orks in trouble. We have another heavy weapon team with a heavy bolter. Getting really close to those Nobs, and they're taking tons of damage trying to go around the arc. Mr. Ricco now trying to push. Nobs finally getting Mina and Greener and using Frenzy. In a lot of trouble though. Ogrins are going to catch them in retreat, and these Nobs might be going down here. Bang, 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 and he loses his Nob surely. Ogrins are trying to chase, and the Nobs get away with 17 hit points, less than that when he started to retreat. Wow. Lucky escape from Mr. Ricco, and he's going to be able to cap mid here for a 2-1 again. 197, 74. Kommando Nob finally switching back to his special shooter now. Has no vehicles to contend with. Should have switched back ages ago, I think. Weird Boy going to cap mid. Does he have any upgrades? No. Very near level 2. Foot of Cork would be great. Looks like Mr. Ricco is not going to try and regain map control. He's just going to try and hold center with his Nobs and try and see out a VP victory. Weird Boy needs to be very much taken care of. He needs these guys to disrupt the heavy weapon team. He's taking a lot of damage though. Mr. Ricco needs to get this guy out of here. Goes down, loses his Weird Boy. That's a huge blow. Commissar Lord now decapping mid. 189, 72 wall. Weird Boy out of control there and explodes. Ogrin's in amongst the Kommando Nob. These guys have been so good for Stoned Elfboy, almost level 2. Shooter Boy is just about getting away. Caught by Ogrin's in retreat, and he loses them. Mr. Ricco barely has anything, and this is pretty much it. Surely Stoned Elfboy has this game. Commandos hit the field though, called in by the Kommando Nob. That's a global ability of his, and there's Love the Daka on these Stormtroopers. Really nice disruption and DPS from these guys. Are they going to chuck a burner bomb as well? Did they chuck a burner bomb? No. What are they waiting for? We have fully upgraded guardsmen here, level 3. Well, they don't have a weapon yet. Oh, they did chuck a burner bomb here. Commissar Lord now has his power fist and carapace armor, and these Nobs are done for. Yes. And it's a double cap for Stoned Elfboy, and he's pretty much got this game. He has sneakily taken the east side with some guardsmen. 185, 40. Flare going down on those shooter boys. They cannot shoot anything. Mr. Ricco seems to have thought that it was a Manticore and retreats, and Stoned Elfboy takes it. Wow. Really nice play with these Ogrins that really helped him. Mr. Ricco made a few mistakes, bit over eager with his Nobs. Didn't pay attention to his Weird Boy there. It was a big loss, and the battle wagon loss was huge. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.